What up? It's Snowflake! And I'm going to show you how to draw a red line on a map. Kind of like Indiana Jones style. I'm going to show you how to do this in motion. And basically what that red line is, right, it shows this from point to point, this like travel route of your character in your movie or whatever. Right? I'm going to show you how to make that red line. And I'm going to do this despite the fact that I'm utterly depressed over my team losing the Super Bowl. They lost. I don't know why they lost. I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. Okay? So, this is what the final product looks like. And this is, I added some video footage over this, but basically what we're looking at is this red line going on the map, showing these travel points. I'll show you what that looks like.
And that's when I decided to book my flight, pack my bags, and fly out to Dwarka myself to see what's going on and why the excavations and exploration stopped. After 3 planes, 2 car rides, and 35 hours later, I arrived to discover as much as I could about this lost city.
Cool. So, that's pretty awesome, right? This little red line. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do those camera movements, the zooming and the following of the line. I'm just going to show you the first step of that, which is creating those black dots and creating that drawing line on the map. So, let's go to motion. In motion, I have a map. And it's a map of the world. And I got this map on Wikipedia. And this map happened to be in the public domain, meaning there's no copyright on it. Good to go. We can use it without worrying about anything. So, I've got this image. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw little black dots representing my cities. I do this in my little circle tool here. And it might be something else when you look at it, but you can change it to the circle tool. And I'm going to go over here with my circle tool selected, and I'm going to draw a little black dot. Oh, it looks so great. Actually, it looks kind of like an oval. So let's try it again. I want to make it look black dotty. Better. Cool. So now we're going to select the arrow tool, and I'm going to drag this to wherever I want it to go. Let's say freaking Los Angeles, or let's say Australia. And then I would create another one. I could duplicate that and maybe drag another one over here to India. And I could do this however many points that I wanted to create, right? I've already done that, but I'm just showing you for purposes of demonstration. All right, so I'm going to delete those points. And in here, I've got my circles group, and I'm going to activate that because I've already created those points. I've got one in Los Angeles, one in the Chicago area, and one in India. Cool. So I got my points. That's awesome. Let's do the line. Back at the circle tool, we're going to change this to the line tool. I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to click and drag a line, and it creates a line. Beautiful. Now, one thing I do want to mention before I go any further, with the line or the circle, any object that you're going to create, any text or anything like that, make sure that you are at the beginning of your sequence. Because if you created it and you're right here in the middle of your sequence, right, it'll create the object from this point forward, and then you got to drag it out. But if you create it from the beginning and making sure that you're at the beginning of your sequence there, it'll actually create it for that whole sequence. So mine's 20 seconds. It'll create it for that whole 20-second sequence. So back to the line. I don't like how thick it is. I want to make it just a little smaller, so I'm going to change this width here to 5. All right, and I like that better. And then I'm going to drag it. I'm going to drag it over here in this general area. Now, I'm going to go up here to where my arrow tool is, and I'm going to click it and select, or click it and hold down, and go to my control points tool. And what the control points tool is it sets this up so each point of the line is a control point, and it can be dragged and stretched and moved to different parts. But I can also add different control points, and I'm going to show you how to do that. If you just kind of hover over the line, you'll see this. It'll turn into this pen with a little plus mark. Plus sign, you're going to hit Control, click, and add point, and that gives you an additional point. Now, I only need 3 points, so that's good for me, and I'm going to drag this point here over that dot, and I'm going to drag this one here, and then I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to drag this one over to India. Cool, India. You kicked my dog. Okay, so that's a straight line, and I don't want it to be a straight line. I want it to have this kind of cool curve, kind of like maybe the path an airplane would take, you know, kind of goes up and then down, right? Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the second point. I'm not going to go to the last point, but I'm going to go to the second point because that'll allow me to set this curve between this point and this point. So I'll go to the second point, and I'm going to Control click. and I'm going to change this from linear to smooth. All right, and that gives me the ability to curve the line and do all sorts of nifty things to it, right? So I'm going to do it a little bit more professionally, if you will. On this side of my curve line here, I'm going to select this curve control point, and I'm going to just drag it up here, kind of like that. I'm going to stretch it out so I can kind of determine the curve of that line. I'm going to drag it up to about there, and then maybe I'll just go over here and kind of adjust that and make that a little straighter there. Just kind of curve it the way that I want it to look, because it's my line. Good, that looks awesome. And it appears that for the most part, my red line is going across the black dots. Great. So now we want it to draw on. Well, this is how you're going to do that. Make sure that you're at the beginning of your sequence, and you're going to go over here to your Inspector tab, Style, and in here on the line is this last point offset. And I'm going to add a keyframe. And again, make sure that you're at the beginning of your sequence or wherever you want the line to start drawing on. And I'm going to drag this last point offset to 0. And then now you'll notice there's no line currently on the map, right? It's just the black dots. Then what I'm going to do is, reselecting the line, I'm going to go to the point where I want the line to end, where I want the line to be finished drawing on. And I'm going to do it at the 15-second marker. And I'm going to go back over here, last point offset, and I'm going to add another keyframe, and I'm going to change this value to 100%. Now you will see the line is 100% drawn on the map. Cool. So if you go to the beginning, it's not there, and because of that keyframe, what it's going to do is it's going to slowly, gradually draw that line on the map. You hit space to play it, and that line does its little curve, and it goes from here to here, and it will go all the way over to India. Oh, go to India. Ah, yes, go to India. Oh, fantastic. Great. So, in this tutorial, I didn't show you how to do the camera movements. I'm going to do that in a different tutorial, but hopefully you got something out of this. How to get those black dots there, how to get that line drawn. That, I think, is probably the most complex part. Even though it's not that complex, most people don't know how to do that, get that line drawn. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, make sure to like the video and comment on my video, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel. Because if you subscribe, you're going to get all the updates when I post more tutorials and tips on Final Cut Pro 7, Apple Motion, and Compressor. So, thanks for watching, and go Niners! Go Niners! Kaepernick!